What is the unique castling move in chess? Have you ever wondered how to move both the king and a rook in one turn? That's where the unique castling move comes into play. Castling is a special maneuver in chess that combines the movement of two pieces, the king and one of the rooks. This is the only time in chess where you can move two pieces at once, making it a fascinating aspect of the game. The main purpose of castling is twofold. First, it helps protect the king by moving it to a safer position, away from the center of the board. Second, it activates the rook, bringing it closer to the center and connecting it with the other rook for better coordination later in the game. So how does castling work? The king moves two squares toward the rook on its original rank. Then, the rook jumps over the king to the square immediately next to the king on the opposite side. There are two types of castling: Kingside castling and Queenside castling. In Kingside castling, also known as castling short, the king moves two squares toward the rook on the king's side, which is the side closer to the edge of the board. The rook then moves to the square right next to the king on the other side. In Queenside castling, or castling long, the king moves two squares toward the rook on the queen's side, which is the side farther from the edge of the board. The rook then moves to the square immediately next to the king on the other side. For castling to be legal, several conditions must be met. Neither the king nor the rook involved can have moved previously in the game. There must be no pieces between the king and the rook. The king cannot be in check, and it cannot move through or land on a square that is under attack by an enemy piece. Interestingly, the rook's path does not have to avoid attacked squares, only the king's path matters. Castling is a strategic move that improves king's safety and rook activity. It is often used early in the game to safeguard the king behind a wall of pawns and to connect the rooks for later use. From the perspective of rook movement, castling is unique because it allows the rook to jump over the king, which is not possible with any other move. Normally, rooks can move any number of squares horizontally or vertically, but they cannot jump over pieces. Castling is the only exception where the rook leaps over the king in a single combined move. This move has evolved from earlier chess variants where the king could leap to squares on its first move. Over time, it developed into the modern castling maneuver, combining the king's leap with activating the rook in one turn. In essence, castling is a special move that enhances both king safety and rook activity while adhering to strict rules to ensure it is executed properly.